Hello. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about my journey with eating a plant-based diet and how it's evolved over time. So I went vegan when I was 15, and I'd actually already been a pescatarian, leaning towards vegetarian since I was 12, and I did that purely for health reasons. And I did feel better from doing that. But I decided to take it a step further, or several steps further, into going vegan because I started doing a lot of research on how they treated the animals and what they added to these animals, like putting antibiotics and all these different things inside of them that goes into the food. So I researched that, and especially with milk, and it started grossing me out. I think the last thing that I ate before actually really making the full-on decision, like I need to stop eating all of this, these animal products, was when I ate a quiche. I was sitting at the mall and I was eating this quiche, and I was just recalling this research that I had done about like blood and pus going into the milk, and there was cheese in the quiche, and I really felt the emotion of that, and so I just threw it away and told myself, okay, I'm gonna start this journey now, like I'm just gonna do it. So I did it, I slowly started, well, actually, it was actually more abrupt than slowly, but like every once in a while, I would have like maybe a cookie with butter in it, or a treat or something, but yeah, no, definitely no meat at all. And eventually I just didn't need any of those like treat type of things anymore, because I started baking my own. So I started getting really creative, more creative in the kitchen, and just coming up with all these awesome things. I would make pizzas and pies and donut holes and cookies, and I did like baking and cooking a lot. And for my protein, this wasn't like, it's not the best thing ever to do, but I still think it was better than eating conventionally raised meat products and animal products. But I would stock up on like Boca burgers, and like I really liked the chicken ones and the Gardein stuff, which it probably was GMO soy, but I mean, it's okay. Like I'm fine now, and I've changed my diet a lot since then. I don't eat any of that stuff anymore. I don't even eat soy anymore, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, about how I recently made a huge change and transition in my diet, and it's still plant-based diet. There's nothing in there that said like I had to eat meat. So anyway, I'll go back to my story with how things were back then. So yeah, I would just get really creative with like, just, it's actually not that hard. Like I would have my protein, I would have my veggies, I would have my rice. I didn't think it was that hard to do, and I was really motivated to do it. And this was back before veganism was actually cool. This was before like there were hipsters going vegan and the whole vegan movement, which is actually it's really building right now, which is really awesome to see how everybody is now starting to really become more conscientious about what they're eating and transitioning towards like becoming more aware of their health. So that's really beautiful to see. So yeah, back then, like I found out there was one other person who was considered vegan at the school that I went to. Awesome. But yeah, so my diet evolved a little bit. When I went to college, I stopped eating so much of that, like soy-based fake meat product, and just more beans and legumes. But yeah, there still like weren't, and tofu, I would eat a lot of tofu, but there still weren't like, like a lot of options. Like luckily the college that I went to was really good with vegan food. I forgot like if they were like ranked number 2 in best vegan food in the country, but it was really awesome. Like they did have a good amount of vegan options. So I'm really grateful for that. And so yeah, after college, like I definitely went on this health binge. I remember going on a health binge like in my early 20s, and I cut out like sugars for a while, like just for a limited period of time. And I began experimenting with cutting out gluten and cutting out soy, because I had read these things about how they were bad for digestion. So I did feel better when I cut those things out. But then I went traveling, and when I went traveling, I just ate the bread, and sometimes I even like wasn't completely vegan. Like sometimes I would be hungry and I'm like in Peru at this hotel where I don't know what's going on, and they have like eggs for breakfast, so I ate like an egg, and that wasn't really like that big of a deal. It's not like, it wasn't gonna kill me. And then kind of more recently I had this experimenting phase where my body was really, really, really trying to talk to me. And when I was traveling, it started doing this too, but there's just something that I knew wasn't right. And I started feeling a lot more tired and a bit just like sluggish, and it was just kind of hard to like motivate myself, and I wasn't exercising as much as I needed to. So I found out what I needed to do, luckily. So I knew that I was deficient in something, so I started experimenting with eggs, not really much dairy. Like it would get into my diet a little bit, but it wasn't like something I really wanted to eat. I started experimenting with and they weren't conventional eggs. Like they were eggs from like a client that I was working with. They actually had their own chicken, so they would give me some eggs. And I also found like local eggs from here. But then I ate eggs, and then I just didn't really like I don't know, I just didn't really like it. Like I would eat it and I just felt like kind of weird inside. And I found out that I actually didn't need to eat eggs, but I was just experimenting to see like what's going on and to see like what might help. And for a moment, I actually thought that I needed to start eating like meat again, because I just didn't know what was going on. Like I didn't know what to do. My body was just really screaming at me. It was like, Alicia, you need something, and I didn't know what that was. And so I was looking around like on the internet, searching around to see like how I could get my nutrients tested. And I actually came across this chiropractor who does muscle testing, or applied kinesiology. So she really helped me out because she basically gave me a lot more direction with where I needed to go. And I found out that I actually didn't need to eat meat or any animal products at all. What I needed was, so I was deficient in zinc, definitely zinc, and I found that out actually before I even went to the chiropractor. I started getting these like little white spots on my nails, and I did some research, and they were saying it could be zinc, and I found it like I was definitely deficient in zinc. And zinc can cause like all these things if you're deficient in it, because it has to do with your copper levels as well. Like the more deficient you are in zinc, the higher your copper levels are, or something like that. Like if you eat more copper, that kind of like drains out the zinc. So I had too much copper. Like I maybe had a copper toxicity. And when I started having zinc again, I just felt a lot better. And like my eye stopped twitching. My eye was twitching for like 3 months, and I found out that was due to a zinc deficiency. So such a good idea to be aware of like the minerals and what we need in our bodies. And so yeah, zinc, magnesium, and iron definitely need that trio. And it's sometimes good to take them like a little bit spread apart because they can compete for absorption. So I've experimented with doing that too. I don't always do it that way, but it's a good idea to try that as well. And let's see what else. So yeah, I needed to change my diet. I found out that I'm intolerant to gluten and soy, and for a while corn, but now I can kind of have a little bit of corn like once a week. And nightshades too. I can have a little bit of nightshades, but it's not something that I really want to consume on a regular basis. So yeah, I had to, like I found those things out, and I had to kind of restructure the way that I was eating, which was really exciting for me. So I was super, super relieved to find out that I didn't need to eat any animal products, and I realized like, well, yeah, there's no such thing as a meat deficiency, or there's no such thing as like milk deficiency or egg deficiency. Like there's no such thing as that. Like if you're getting enough nutrients, that's all you need. And I didn't necessarily become nutrient deficient because I was vegan or plant-based diet. I had never supplemented pretty much ever. And it's a good idea for everyone to supplement because there's not enough nutrients that are in the soil that are in the plants that we're eating. And same thing with, like if you eat meat, it's the same thing because the cows aren't getting well fed as far as like their nutrient levels. And also it's totally possible not to supplement either. Like I'm not saying you have to take supplements because if you're really conscientious about what nutrients are in what types of foods, you can definitely balance yourself out that way. For example, there's a lot of zinc in pumpkin seeds, so I've been eating a lot more pumpkin seeds and other little minerals in there that are really important too. And so yeah, there's like, chia seeds and omega-3s. That was actually one thing I was really deficient in, was DHA, and that is so important for the brain. So I was lacking DHA. I was deficient in fat as well. I wasn't eating enough fat. So I started eating more avocados and just freely eating nuts a lot more. So yeah, I just feel a lot better. There's the whole protein thing. It's so easy to get protein sources from plants. Like it was just recommended for me to eat 3 servings of protein a day. And so I'll eat usually some kind of legume or beans with rice, and then I'll drink a vegan protein shake, and then some nut butters and things like that. So it's actually not that hard to get protein. Protein is in a lot of different things. It's in vegetables as well. So I was so relieved that I didn't have to start eating animal products, and yeah, just a huge load off of my chest. And in the future, I want to share some videos about how I cook my food and what I do in order to maintain a balanced diet, because it's not that hard. It was just recommended for me to eat those 3 servings of protein and 2 root vegetables. Root vegetables are so grounding, so definitely 2 servings of root vegetables a day and 2 servings of grains, so like rice and quinoa, and I think that's, and 2 servings of green vegetables, which is so easy because I subscribe to an organic CSA, and so basically every 2 weeks I get this box, and you can get it every week, but I only need it every other week because I'm just one person and it feeds 2, but you can pick up this box at the coffee shop, the local coffee shop, they deliver it there, and then I just bring it home, and it's just this big box of green vegetables like lettuce and kale, sprouts, avocados. So awesome. I love food. It's just fun. It's just fun to be human and to experiment with what really works for you. So I feel so much better now. My body loves me for loving it. And I've been exercising more. I've been having more energy. And I definitely recommend getting food allergy tested. Or some kind of test that will give you a little bit more direction with what's best for you food-wise, so that you can kind of just navigate that way. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed my story. There's so much that I want to share and that I want to say, so I will be making more videos after this too. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out for me. Yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is Rising Eagle Wellness. So take care, namaste, bye.